Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lillian and I've been away for the last 2 weeks. I've not posted anything because I've been celebrating my 35th birthday. So I am 35 now as of the 12th of March of this year. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have not posted any videos and I am so happy to be back. It feels like I've been away for like forever, but I'm here now. So welcome aboard. On this channel, I talk about business, finance, and life in general. And in this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the steps that I took to buy a house. So 2020, I had already planned that I'm going to be buying a house, and that was the 5-year period. So from 2015, I decided that in 2020 I'll be buying a house. So I did set myself up for 5 years. I know to some people it might be a long time, but to me, that made sense to me. I didn't have to stretch too far to save up for a house. And what I wanted to buy everything brand new for the house. So it meant I had to save up more aside from the down payment, the legal fees you got to pay, the solicitor and everything that goes with it. There's some miscellaneous things that, oh, you might need to pay this and perhaps you might need to pay the other. So I knew that 5 years would be ideal for me to save up for a house. Now, the first step that I took was to find out what area I was going to buy a house in. So I had 3 areas I wanted to buy my house in, and I had to narrow down to one area. So what I did was to go around those areas and do like a survey sort of thing, see how they are in the day, see how they are in the night, the neighborhood, see how it is. And then from there, I decided to go ahead and do. So I had to go and take out. So I had to go to the bank um, and decide and see how much money I could borrow from the bank. It's hard to get this in principle from other mortgage lenders. It's easy to go to your bank, so that's what I did. So well, I think it's easier to go to your bank because they already know you, they know your financial circumstance, so it's easier for them to see how much money they can lend you. So I had to go to the bank to make a decision in principle. So basically, they do like a quick search and see how much money they can lend you, and then you can use this to go and try and see what houses you can view and all of that. So you can go to the letting agents and see what houses are for sale, what houses you can view in your area that you want to buy. So that's what I did. So once I had that in place, I went around, started to book appointments of when I could see these houses. Went in, saw the houses, see what they looked like. Now it was an eye opener in the sense that I decided not to buy a house that had a lot to do because it meant I had to have more money at hand to do the renovations. So which meant I had to have like either a brand new house or I had to get a house that didn't have a lot, didn't need a lot of renovation for me to be able to move into the house. So kind of like semi-ready to move into. In the end, I ended up having like a brand new house. That's what I bought. And then I had to look out for the government schemes that are available for first-time buyers. So I had to open up a Help to Buy ISA, which no longer exists because it was scrapped, I believe, last year. So anybody who still has the Help to Buy ISA, you can still use that up until 2030. After that, you won't be able to use that. And then I transferred that money into a lifetime ISA. With the lifetime, the difference is with the Help to Buy ISA, you can only save up to £200 a month, whereas the lifetime ISA, you can save as much as you want in there. So there's no limit to how much you can spend, but you've got to have it for a year before you can actually use it. So I knew I was saving up for over a year, so I knew I was not going to use it. It would make sense to me to have Help to Buy, to have a lifetime ISA, and that's what I did. So saved out all the money into the lifetime ISA because at the end of it all, the government gives you 25% of how much you've saved. So the more you save, the more money you get from the government, and that made so much sense to me. So that's what I had to do. So you have to look out for what schemes are available, and With a lifetime ISA, you can open it as long as you're 39 and below. So, which is an ideal age for most people, buying a house. But in the end, I decided I'm not going to buy a house that wasn't brand new because one of my friends already bought a brand new house and the process was so much easier. So that meant I was just going to follow suit as well, like buy a brand new house. Everything was, you could have your own solicitor, but they had solicitors ready for you. So it meant that it was just like a sale in the park in the sense that you're just there to be guided and given as much information that you can need to make an informed decision. It made so much sense for me that to have everything in one place, like it was like a one-stop shop. You have everything for you that is pretty much done for you and you're guided. So that's why I went for a brand new house. Like I said, I had evidence for my friend, and it meant that this is going to be so much easier for me as well, which indeed it was. So yeah, those are the steps that I did, that I took to buying a house. So figuring out what area you want to buy, narrowing it down, and also what sort of house you want to buy is another key thing that I had to decide. I didn't want to buy a semi-detached house. I wanted to buy a detached house. Like sometimes I have moments where I'm doing my housework and I am blasting music. So having a neighbor, he might be doing nights or they've got a child and you're blasting music. It's not, I mean, nobody can stop you because it's your house, but it's always good to have a neighbor who's considerate in certain things like, playing loud music. So that meant that I didn't have that issue of somebody knocking on my door and saying, "Oh, do you mind turning the music down?" I hate that. So it meant that I was going to buy a detached house on my own, like not having to have any neighbors. So you have to decide what you're going to buy. Are you buying a detached house? Are you buying a semi-detached house? Are you buying a terrace? Like, what are you doing? So you have to figure out all those things because that makes a difference in how much money you need to save up. And then you decide like how much you're going to be saving up. Are you saving up for you're going to be saving up? Is it going to be 5% deposit? Is it 10%, 20%? Depending on how much you want to do. In my instance, it was 10% deposit that I had to put down for the house. So all those things, and then deciding like how much you're going to be buying, how long is your mortgage going to be? Is it going to be 25? Is it going to be 35? Is it going to be 30? Depending on your circumstances, all these things are the things you need to talk about with your solicitor when you're getting the mortgage, and all those things were things that I did as well. So just to recap, is finding the area where you're going to buy a house, deciding on how big of a house you're going to buy. Is it a 3-bedroom house, 2-bedroom house? Is it a bungalow? I don't think I was going to be buying a bungalow, to be honest. Is it a bungalow? And then deciding on what sort of house it's going to be. Is it going to be detached, semi-detached? Is it going to be a terrace? You need to have a decision in principle, like how much money the lenders are going to be able to give you. And because I said I went to my bank, you can go to any mortgage lender to decide to have a decision in principle. But like I said, it's easier if you go to your bank because they already know your financial circumstance. So it makes it so much easier. And yeah, those are things that I took, that I had to decide on how I'm going to do, that I had to decide on how I'm going to take, the steps that I took in buying my house. So, like I always say, visualize your higher self, show up as them, and be the change that you want to see. See you again. Bye.